The LMP3 just got added to iRacing yesterday and I immediately bought the car and had to test it out to see how it felt. This video is going to be about how to drive it fast, my first impressions on the car, and some tips and tricks that could also help you go fast. The LMP3 is a difficult car to learn at first, but since I had experience driving the LMP2, it was a bit easier. The first thing I immediately noticed that it was a lot better to brake later than earlier, but if you miss the braking point, it is very difficult to stop the car without locking up and completely missing the corner. For example, in this clip you can see me missing the braking point by a little bit and completely missing the corner. But in this one, I got it just right, it was just a bit earlier on the brakes, and I got the corner perfectly. So you have to find the limit and the best braking point so you can be consistent. I also noticed that if you go into 6th gear too early, you lose a lot of time. You can see here in this clip I went to 6th gear too early, and you can see on the delta how much time I lose compared to my best lap. So for now, unless they update the car, I would avoid 6th gear until you are really on the revs. I would also try to avoid 1st gear as long as it is not an extremely slow speed corner, because I'm telling you, if you go into 1st gear, the car will seriously bog down since the RPMs goes too low and you will lose a lot of time on the exit of the corner. You can see here I tried 1st gear to get better rotation and I just lost a lot of time on the exit. Overall, my first impressions on the car is that if you get the hang of it, it's a great car to drive. It just takes practice. I also think that the car will be a great addition to iRacing as the LMP2 has been in the game since 2020 and it is a very similar car. So I think it will be good for iRacing as a whole. An unpopular opinion I also have about the car is you don't need a setup to be fast. I know, it's crazy to think because all the pro setups are insane, but yesterday I did a race with high downforce setup and I was almost as quick as some of the 8K iRating drivers with probably pro setups and a whole lot of practice and testing. One of the major downsides of the car is the roll cage blocking your view heavily. So try raising your driver height and moving up the FOV so you can have more awareness of the drivers around you. Here you can see how much of a difference it made when I adjusted my FOV and how much more I could see the other drivers. This should also help seeing the corners. Of course, if you have triple screens, this should not be a major problem, but even if you do, I think it will still help a lot. I also already mentioned the iRacing setups before, and I think it is also a great place to start if you want to make your own setups. Yes, it might need a few changes, but definitely not many. From my experiences so far, the iRacing setups are not bad at all, it just depends on the different tracks. In conclusion, I think the LMP3 is a great car to drive and an overall balanced car. The only thing that they could fix, in my opinion, is the roll cage obstructing the view. But besides that, it is a great addition to iRacing, and also a bit of a replacement for the LMP2, which we have had for 3 years now. So it is also good in that aspect, because we basically got a different car, but it somewhat feels like a better version of the old car. Thank you all for watching, and let me know what car you would like me to make a review on next.